Hello and welcome to Cooking with Zach. On today's episode, we're going to do some fried chicken. Here's my special spice blend for my fried chicken. I got my granulated garlic, granulated onion, ground cumin, which is a favorite on our channel here. We got our whole thyme leaves. We got our sweet smoked paprika, some nice black peppercorns, and some salt. I got over here a whole bunch of chicken. I got a pretty good supply. I'd say probably about 10, 12, 15 packages. You pretty much tailor this to your own needs. You're just going to do a nice coating of all of this here, your spices. And this is another 2-day procedure. So we're going to go ahead and get our stuff seasoned up tonight. And then tomorrow we're going to go ahead and bread it and fry it. So I'll go ahead and show you here. Going to take our salt. You want to put a good amount of salt on this stuff here. Now if you're doing a smaller batch, like a package of 2, you wouldn't want to put as much salt. It'd be a bit overpowering. But on a big batch like this, you want to make sure you got plenty of salt. Get this all nice and salted down. There we go. Got that taken care of. So now, I'm going to go ahead and do a pepper. Now, I wish I had some more pepper, but, you know, done run out. Do a decent amount of pepper on here. Then again, I love the taste of pepper. If you don't like pepper, you don't got to put it in. Okay, takes care of the pepper. Now, we're going to go ahead and put in our granulated garlic. I love me the taste of garlic, so we're going to go nice and liberal with it. There we go, there's the garlic. Now, we're going to go ahead and grab a granulated garlic. Put that down in there. Okay. Now, got our ground cumin. Because, of course, we love our cumin. Actually, cumin is really good for you. From what I've heard, it can give you all kind of health benefits, like boosted immune system and anti-inflammatory stuff. Not to mention it don't taste real good. Gotta make sure we got plenty of cumin in there. And now, gonna go ahead and do our thyme leaves. Put a decent amount in there. Okay, and then lastly, we got our sweet smoked paprika, because we love the taste of paprika here too. Comes out kind of hard sometimes. Okay. Now, since we got our stuff all put together here, I'm going to go on ahead, put the lid on. We're just going to get it shook up now. Almost flipped up. Really smell the mix now. Okay, now these are chicken tenders. I got them cut up all tender like. But you could easily do chicken nuggets. You could do popcorn chicken. It's all depending how you cut it up. Pretty much do the same thing anyway. I got these all sitting in the mix now. And I'm going to go ahead and let this sit overnight. And I'll bring you back tomorrow when we get ready to fry it up. See you in a bit. Welcome back. Now we're on day number 2. We're going to get our frying done now. So before we can start frying, what we're going to do now is we're going to bread a chicken. So I got my second bin here. It's empty for now. I got a nice container here with a dozen eggs, a little bit of water, and I got a whole thing here of potato flour. Now, potato flour I like better than the potato starch. The potato starch, yeah, doesn't make the coating quite like I like it, but the flour does real good. This is gluten free, of course. And what I'm going to do here is, before I beat my eggs together, I'm going to go ahead here and add a little bit of granulated garlic. This will flavor up the eggs a little bit. Go ahead and set this aside now. And then I'll just go ahead and whisk our eggs together to make our batter. This is going to be our egg wash for our chicken. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pre-bread all of my chicken before I even start the frying. Getting a little bit of eggs on the counter. Probably should have gotten a slightly bigger container, but you know. Get this all nice and beat it up. Okay, now I'm going to grab a little paper towel and set this aside. I'm just going to move this down a little bit. Up there. Ooh. Stay. Going to grab my chicken now. And of course, for this process here, you're going to want to grab your rubbers. It's going to get real nasty. So, I'm not going to film the whole process for you. Just a couple of chickens. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the lid off the container here. Set that aside for a minute. Now I'm going to adjust the camera here for you. Get this. Okay. So first, gonna have one hand for one thing and one hand for another. I'm going to grab a piece of chicken here. I'm going to put it in the flour and get that nice and coated. Going to drop it into the egg wash. Swirl that around nicely. And then put that back into the flour. Get that all nice and coated again. And I'm just going to go ahead and set this over here in the other container. And once again, put some chicken in the flour. Get it nicely coated. Transfer it over into the egg wash. Back over into here. This over here. Here. I'm gonna coat our chicken all nice like. Get it all figured out. Transfer that over to the empty bin. Grab another chicken. Once again, flour. I suppose you could call this double coating because we go flour, egg, flour. Get that all nicely coated down. Here. And we're just going to gently put it over here. And we're going to stack our chicken in there until we have all these chickens all done. Once they're all done, I'll bring you back and we'll go on ahead and move on to the frying process. So like that, we have another piece done. And I'll bring you back momentarily. Well, we got all the breading done now. So what I'm going to do is going to go ahead and put our chicken in the fridge for about 25-30 minutes. Let it chill, let the breading set. And I'm just going to take the rest of this here potato flour and I'm just going to dump this right in here. Get this all kind of mixed in, and then now we're going to let her chill and I'll bring you back once we stop frying. Welcome back. Now we've had our chicken sitting in the fridge for a little while, so now what we're going to do, we're going to get our deep fry ready here. Now what I'm using today is some olive oil, but you could easily use any other kind of oil, canola or coconut or whatever. I like the taste of the olive oil. Gives it a nice flavor when you're doing the chicken. I like the Zoe here. Real good olive oil. So I got a pretty good sized deep fryer here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this bad boy right up to the fill line. Once I figure out where said line is. Aha. Found it. Now get this bad boy open. Now for my fryer, it takes pretty much both these big jugs. Each one's 3 liters, so about 6 liters. But I'm just going to go ahead and dump it right on in. And once we get our fryer all filled up, we're going to want to set the temperature to 300 degrees. Now my fried chicken recipe here, it's a double fry method. So for the first fry we're going to do 300 degrees, and for the second we're going to do 350. Now on our first fry, we're only going to want to have to get our chicken golden brown. But on the second fry, we'll go ahead and dig out the probe and make sure we're at 165. But for now, since this is going to take a minute, I'm just going to go ahead and let you skip ahead. I'll bring you back once we get the fryer all heated up. Back in a moment. This episode is brought to you by the World War III Chronicles, my fictional World War III series set in the year 2020 to 2022. The first book in my series is Operation Iranian Occupation. This is set in 2020. It's alternate history, so instead of COVID, we get World War III. In this book, President Trump orders the assassination of an Iranian general named Soleimani. In our world, nothing really happened. There was a little bit of commotion. In my world, the Iranians full-on annihilate a military base in Iraq, and in response, we go ahead and we fully invade. Our forces push right into Iran. Russia counters briefly, and there's kind of a tense conflict between the two. President Trump and Vladimir Putin get together and there's a deal made. Russia will pull out of Iran and allow us to take Iran if we allow them to take Ukraine. That kind of kicks off a whole thing. So in book number 1 here, U.S. forces go right into Iran. It kind of starts off the series. I've got a fictional Illuminati in here that I've been working on for the past 10 years. I've taken a bunch of conspiracy theories and cherry-picked a few things and stuff, and you get a little peek here. And then book number 2, we get to see the Soviet Federation. Essentially, my fictional Illuminati makes its first big move. They wipe out the Russian government in a bunch of assassinations. Vladimir Putin is assassinated, and Alexei Molotov ascends to power, and he starts creating the Soviet Federation, completely redoes the economic system, completely redoes everything. You get to follow a few people throughout different sectors. You got military forces. You've also got some workers. Alexei decides he wants to do a massive superhighway from Moscow straight to the other side of Russia and have a seaport right directly across from Alaska. And you get to see their struggles and their horrendous working conditions, as well as, the war in Ukraine. If you're interested in these books, go ahead and check out Operation Iranian Occupation and Birth of the Soviet Federation. I'm on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, as well as a bunch of other ones like Kobo and Apple Books and a bunch of others. Welcome back. Now, since we're starting out with our frying, this is just about 300 degrees. So now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to start laying my chicken right into the basket. I want to fill it up in a decent amount. I got one hand for putting chicken in, and I got one hand for handling everything else. I got a handy dandy baking sheet next to me with a little grate on it. And what we're going to do is, for our first batch here, the first fry, we're going to put all this on this here tray, and once we get this all fried up, we're going to go ahead and grab another tray, bring it out, and we're going to go ahead and run these through a second time. Our breading has set really nicely. I'm just going to try to put as much in here as I possibly can without overfilling it. Now the goal is to have our breading be nice and golden brown. So now I'm going to gently drop it down. And I'm going to let it sit, and I'm going to eyeball it. Okay, so it's been down for just a little bit. I'll pull this back up. And if you can see here, it's just lightly golden brown. And this is our first fry. So now, I'm just going to go ahead and grab my tongs here and just ever so gently place it on the tray. Got to be gentle because we don't want to mess with our breading too much. Don't want to lose the precious. So yeah, that's the first batch done. So now I'm going to do the second batch. Once again, I'm going to fill up the basket, and I'll go ahead and bring you back once I get the full bunch of it done, and then we can move on to the second fry. Until then, see you in a moment. Well, now we got all our chicken fried up on the first fry through. That was at 300 degrees Fahrenheit. So right now I got my deep fryer heating up to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Once that's all nice and head up, we're going to go ahead and put these back into the oil and get this cooked up to 165 degrees internal, and then they'll be done and ready to eat. Now this is going to take a few minutes, so I'm going to go on ahead and step away and bring you back once we're ready to stop frying. I'll show you the first batch and then show you the final result, and then we'll call it an episode. If you're enjoying this so far, please leave a like, subscribe, and we'll bring you back. Okay, so now our oil has finally reached 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So now I'm going to start loading up the basket, and we're going to do our second fry. Chicken trying to get away. Get this all nice and packed in nicely. And down we go. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and check the time and see. So it's 4:01 at the time of filming. So we'll see how many minutes it takes to get done, and from there we can go ahead and start our calculations. Just going to agitate that a little bit, keep our chicken going. Might have to top off the oil at some point, but you know. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and jump away again, and I'll bring you back once that first batch is done, and I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like, and I'll go ahead and probe it. Until then, BRB. Okay, so our first batch of fried chicken's done. This is done internal temperature ranging between 160 degrees, 65 degrees, and 200 degrees. So I'm going to go on ahead, set these aside under the drying rack. So it took us just about 4 minutes for this batch here to be done. So from now on, for the other batches, we're going to figure about 4 minutes. Of course, just for food safety, I'm going to check some of these just to double check. Yep. Perfect temp. Put that bad boy right in here. Now one thing that's important for food safety, you want to keep your uncooked and your cooked separate. And of course, since I don't have any more trays, and this took 2 trays, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let these sit for a bit. And about part way through the time it takes to get the second batch done, I'm going to go on ahead and put the chicken in a little bowl so I can package it up. So since this is all cooked up, all these craggly bits, I'm going to shake them off right here. Set that aside. And now it's time for the second batch. So the next, I'm going to go ahead and bring you back once this is done. I'll show you the final. And actually I suppose I should show you over here. This is the rack we got a cooked chicken on, and I got a bowl underneath here. And then yeah, we'll be all set. Have our nice fried chicken. So, bring you back in a moment. Well, I'm bringing you back for the final batch. We're now done frying. Took us roughly about an hour and a half, 2 hours to get all the frying done. I estimate, I separate these out into 6-piece chicken meals in a little bag, send them in the freezer for my quick and easy meals. I reckon I'm probably going to end up with about between 30 and 40, maybe even 50 bags. Each bag is a 6-piece meal. But I'll go ahead now and give you a look. Here you can see our chicken. That's right out of the fryer. After it's been sitting for a minute, you can see it's a tad bit darker, though it's also kind of dark in here. But that pretty much completes our episode today. So I'm going to go ahead and call this an episode. As I said before, if you've enjoyed this, hope you leave a like, subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one.